This video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Just kidding. Do I look like a fucking gamer? Fuck that shit. I don't even play games on my phone. No thanks to you. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. What's up, fuckheads and fornicators? 'Tis I, your fearless leader, and well, it's been a minute, we'll say that much, since I've started doing this Star Wars Legacy review, you know, covering each individual graphic novel, but saying that this channel has mostly been like me and Shadow Vessel making conversations about random shit, decided to bring back some variety, plus also, you know, you guys kind of started liking this channel when I did some comic reviews, so here I am doing a comic review, and what am I going to review? Well, I'm bringing back Star Wars Legacy, starting with book 2 entitled Shard, and, well, the first chapter is basically the Moffs and the Sith and their Game of Thrones chess game, we'll call it. It's really boring, actually. I mean, it's Roan Fel being all bitchy because he got his empire stolen from him, and Darth Krayt wants to fucking rule the empire because he's the Sith guy, and two, like, Moffs are just, you know, trying to manipulate things too, and Darth Milady, yes, there's a character named Darth Milady, is being a bitch, and that's basically it. So, first chapter sucks. Second one, called Noob, that one's awesome. You can totally tell that, like, well, we'll say Andor and the whole Rogue One stuff kind of borrowed from it because it's just a war episode. Basically, it's the Imperial Alliance and their stormtroopers versus Darth Warlock and his stormtroopers, and basically they're kind of just killing each other, and they don't even know, they can't even tell who's good or who's on their side and who's not on their side because they're all wearing the same uniform. So it's just just a bloodbath. There's nothing but a bloodbath, and the episode's called Nuke because it's from the point of view of the cadet, which we need more of, you know, so that was kind of cool. The next one, we meet a lot of shit happens, but the gist of it is we meet a Imperial agent slash bounty hunter by the name of Morgan, she's just badass as fuck, right? And at the end we find out she's Cade's mom, so that's pretty cool. Actually, that's awesome, because it makes sense why Cade's such an asshole. He gets it from his mom, and to me, you can totally tell that Final Space got that whole thing with his badass evil mom, like his corrupt mom, from this. Like, honestly, like, I can totally see it. The next one, you can kind of skip that one. I don't really care about it. It's called Ready to Die. It's basically more Sith being Sith. So if you like Sith, yeah, read it. Then we finally get to Cade, and that's when it gets good, and that's all that fucking matters to me. I mean, let's be real here. I only read this for the stories with Cade in it, so all the rest of them I just want to just really skip. I don't care about the other points of view. I just care about the whole Cade on his adventures, fucking bitches and doing drugs, and a bunch of other fucked up shit, you know? And it's just funny how much the Star Wars community, before we made things canon and legends, really don't like this character. They say how he's like running away from his destiny and how he's a complete douchebag, but that's what makes him awesome, is because how much of a douchebag he is. Like, he's like Archer, you know? Like, has the power, but use it just for douchebag, greedy purposes. And who would it be? He's like a character I can relate to, or a lot of people can relate to, because I know a lot of scumbags like that. And before we continue, let's get to today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Just kidding. Fuck that shit. I mean, seriously. Fuck these mobile game, freemium bullshit. I think South Park pointed out here.
The truth is, a very small percentage of people who download freemium games ever pay anything for them. It's all about finding the heaviest users and extracting the most amount of cash from them. That's how you get addicts to pay $200 for a game that's not even worth 40 cents. Yeah, no thanks to you. And, well, this is kind of going to be either a double or triple feature here, because I was very disappointed in Volume 2. Almost felt anthology-like and Monster of the Week, because we jump around to different settings, and then we finally get to Cade. The only cool thing about it is Cade gets R2-D2, and does his training with a Jedi, and that's it. Now, as for 3, that's where I wanted to continue off. So yeah, you can basically skip 2 and go straight to 3, or at least read the end of 2, so it makes sense to go to 3. Because in 3, Cade goes to Coruscant to rescue that Jedi he turned in, because Cade's an awesome douchebag, and infiltrates the Sith. But of course, right when he meets with Darth Krayt and all the other Sith apprentices of Krayt, all these other Game of Thrones-esque stuff happens, but mostly we focus on Cade. And, you know, Darth Krayt wants to exploit him for his healing abilities. We learn about Krayt's origin, that he was Asherad Het, a former Tusken Raider slash Jedi. Yes, a Tusken Jedi, or a second generation Tusken Jedi, who... A lot of plot convenience with Darth Krayt during this whole expanded universe. I mean, he's been around since the Clone Wars, and after Order 66, he just hid, became a bounty hunter, then joined back with the Tuskens, fought Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan fucked him up, so he had to leave Tatooine and never come back. Then, after that, he decided to just go out to the Outer Rim, where he runs into the Yuzhavong. Yuzhavong experiment on him, and that turns him to the dark side, because that was the only way for him to escape, and he becomes the Supreme Sith. Then he changes the
rules of the Sith, where instead of the rule of 2, it's kind of similar with the Jedi, where many but one Sith, and they become the Sith Empire and all that other fucking badass shit. And of course, in present day, he's teaching Cade the ways of the dark side. Meanwhile, his friends are trying to rescue him, and even his mom rescued him. And we also learn the secret identity of Cade's mom. You know that Moff chick whose daughter is a pilot and all that other stuff? Yeah, that's Cade's mom, and Cade has a half-sister. Then there's book 4, entitled Alliance. It's a short book, but kind of boring. I mean, it's cool because it features a lot of aliens and not really any Jedi or Sith, except for the end, but I'll get to that later. But it starts off with the kind of the fallout after Cade's mom helps sabotage the alliance between the, Emperor Fel and Admiral Stazi. It's just basically a big strategic space battle between Stazi and the Sith, and all the consequences they had to deal with, like the genocide of the Mon Calamari. And yeah, that's basically it. That's it in a nutshell. It's a big space battle and the aftermath of the space battle, and then eventually the Imperial Knights, who represent Emperor Fel, decided to squash their beef and start their alliance, hence the name Alliance. And then the final story is what Darth Warlock, third of his name, having to go to some planet to find out more secrets of immortality by some ancient Sith who's like a ghost. And then there's book 5, entitled The Hidden Temple. It's a Cade episode again. Yay! It starts off with our heroes going to Rav's Crimson Axe, which is a ship jammed into a dead Sarlacc pit, and it's a haven of, as you know, real scum and villainy. Like, makes Mos Eisley's cantina look fucking, well, like a nun, if you catch my drift. Cade confronts fucking Rav, who, the guy who's been giving him death sticks, and also sold him and his friends out to the Sith, and he demands his payment. More specifically, remember that Wookiee and his sidekick? Well, they want their ship back, so he gets his ship back, and then totally like bitch slaps Rav. Then we find out that Rav's has been reporting to Darth Milady. I know that's still a funny name, Darth Milady. So Cade goes to meet up with his uncle Bantha. Yes, he has an uncle, and they go there, and the Black Sun's trying to invade, and they come in and back him up. And it's a big old just family reunion episode. It's a lot of family theme in this episode. So think of like a beach episode in an anime. Like, remember that episode of Last Airbender? I know that's an American anime. Remember that episode of Last Airbender when it was like a beach episode where it's all bonding and just learning more origins and stuff? Yeah, that's this episode. We get to learn more about how much of a cocky prick fucking Cade is, and just how much of a scoundrel fucking Sin is, and how supportive fucking Blue is. That's all I gotta say on that one. So they meet up, and then you find out that they've been tracked by an old flame of Cade's by the name of Azlyn Rae. But you find out also she's claiming to be a bounty hunter, but in reality she's actually she's an Imperial Knight working for Emperor Roan Fel. And they find out they gotta go to the hidden Jedi Temple to meet up with the leftovers of the Jedi Council. And we learn and of course the Imperial Knights follow our heroes. And basically the Galactic Alliance left the Imperial Knights and the Jedi all want to start an alliance. And then Cade comes up with a brilliant idea to assassinate Darth Krayt. Of course, and what I like about this, and of course also while there, Sin finds the guy who killed his dad. We learn also what really happened and why he hates Jedi. In reality, the Jedi were right and his dad was an asshole. And it deals with rape in here too, and a lot of innuendos of sex in there too. A lot of adult themes for a Star Wars story, huh? So you can do adult Star Wars and make it good and not boring. This is one of them, and that's basically it. It's just a lot of character development, a lot of origins asked. We learn more about Cade's mom, we learn more about Sin's backstory, and also what happened to Cade's fleeing back in the Jedi Academy. All in all, best story out there. I mean, even though it's not a lot of action in it, it does have a lot of character growth, all that cool shit. And that's all I got so far for Star Wars Legacy. So far, book 1, book 3, and book 5. So what I've learned so far is the odd number books are the best ones so far. I'd go into detail, but I'm just basically just trolling all of you anyway. So whatever. I'd say special thanks to people, but I gotta go on Sub Pals and YT Pals just to try to get 100 views on here, because the algorithm can suck. Coming soon. Oh, I'm doing a deep, insane, deep dive into the entire lore of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Because if you didn't know this, back in 2012, I tried to start a disaster area tribute band.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy notes that disaster area The Tonian rock band, the Yagrakaka Mine Zones, is generally held to be not only the loudest rock band in the galaxy, but in fact the loudest noise of any kind at all.
Oh yeah! I almost have a full collection of Star Wars Legacy, you know, from Dark Horse Comics. You know, when Star Wars comics were good. And my favorite character, Cade Skywalker. I even got the heart. You know, I just need 2 more to add to my collection, and I'll have the whole set to do my review on. I'll do it by individual, you know, trade book. I also got the Predator Omnibus by Dark Horse Comics, because fuck Disney, fuck Marvel. That lore's badass. They actually gave the lore to Predator, you know, in Dark Horse Comics. I also got Axe Cop and a bunch of other things, so stay tuned on that shit.
Plus the fucking message is bomb.com.
Chaos is a ladder. Shout out to our patrons, in order of importance, the Shadow Vessel, the Fly Attractor, Janitor Jake, Count Morivond, Gary Mossberg, and of course Ryan Zacher. If you have any opinions on what I'm saying, like and comment. Just say some shit in the comments. I need more hate mail anyway, because apparently the only way I actually get views is when I piss people off.
The universe is there to help us. It's not a fucking miracle worker.
And only by admitting what we are can we get what we want.